Well, are we hyped enough? I feel like are we ready for fucking Dune Club Session 8 now? Anything else you guys want to ask me about? Will you post a reaction on YouTube? I'm going to try. Yeah, I've got an assistant coming in, so she's going to be fucking doing some stuff. So, yeah. Hype levels to the max. I know, dude. I was like so tired. I don't feel tired at all anymore. I'm just like, I'm ready. I'm fucking ready. So hyped. So if you're excited for Dune like I am and you want to fucking support me and my Dune bullshit, why don't you head over to my store, danikahxix.bigcartel.com. I got some sexy Dune merch for you. I got you a signed Bene Gesserit notebook, a Chom sticky notebook, Chom Company. We've got a Abomination Alia bookmark, what's she here? Space and Guild highlighter, Souk School syringe pin, Mentat Juice of Safu lip balm. So, and also not only that, we have a Spice Melange CBD lip balm. So if you want to, it's straight from the smugglers on Arrakis. Okay, this is all smuggled off Arrakis. Okay, this is smuggler merch. The chapstick is everything. Yes, and it tastes and smells like cinnamon. You will not be disappointed with either of the lip balms, but especially the Spice Melange one. I'm very proud of. It's fucking so cool. So yeah, we smuggled this off of Arrakis. You can get some sick merch and get hyped for Dune. So yeah, we also have Dune Club pins available. We got Abomination Alia prints available, signed, personalized. And so we got that Bene Gesserit notebooks looking good. So, and it also comes with a Litany Against Fear prayer card, as well as a 19 Academy crest sticker. So yeah, check it out. Right now we're not shipping outside the US because everything's like really messed up with COVID, and maybe I'll do that later. But I just don't want people to be like, where the fuck is my merch? It's been 2 months, and I'm being like, I don't know. Because that's what it's been like this year. So sorry. I love you so much. Maybe later. But you can go to danikahxix.bigcartel.com to pick up some fucking sweet Dune merch for yourself. So yeah, check that shit out, dog. All right. So cool. Yeah. Thank you guys for all your merch compliments. I try to make cute shit for you. You know, this is stuff that's like evergreen. You can always enjoy this. Who doesn't need a Bene Gesserit School for Humans notebook? You can use that for all sorts of fun stuff. So support the USPS. I do. I give the USPS thousands of dollars a year shipping merch to you guys. So yes, this is shipped by the USPS. But all right. So everybody, let's get into class now. It's time to fight. We ate our dessert. Now it's time to dig into our dinner. We got some dinner business going on. So we're in Children of Dune Club, Session 8. So this is page 349 through 395 in this book. If you're not reading from this book in particular and you're reading from a different book, you need to read to the last sentence in the last chapter of this session is, I wish it had been me the tiger killed instead of him. So that is the last sentence of this session. All right. So let's do a little recap. Let's start with a recap. Plots ahoy in session 8 of Dune Club. Little Lord Leto finds Fondak only to be immediately captured. His life now in the hands of Javed's father, Namri, who challenges him to a potentially deadly round of the Fremen Riddle Game. After surviving his first test, Gurney arrives and forces the dreaded spice trance upon him. It's time to take the worm trip, lad. It's time to fucking take the worm trip. Meanwhile, in Arrakis, learning of Jessica and Duncan's location, Alia continues to spiral, desperate to save the situation. She and Edhlund try to convince Ghanima to a betrothal to Farad. Ghanima agrees to a formal announcement of betrothal only as a trap to lure Farad to Arrakis to avenge her brother's death and spill the young man's blood, much to Alia's delight. Back on Salusa Secundus, Farad begins his Bene Gesserit training with Lady Jessica. It's baby's first class, all right? It's baby's first class. So cute, so cute. So let's get into it. Let's get into it here. Chapter 35, Leto trapped at Fondak. Okay, so Leto has ridden long and hard. His little 9-year-old body. He's tired as fuck. It's like he's got all these inner lives, but he's got a 9-year-old body. His little muscles are tired. But he is ridden, and he has found a sietch, or what he thinks is an abandoned, possibly, sietch. It's this rock spit in the middle of nowhere. He sees like a little wind trap, but there's no animals, there's no life sign, there's nothing to make him think that anybody is living here. And so he's like, is this Jackaruda? Did I find it? Did I fuck up? Like, I don't fucking know. This place looks pretty weird. But he stakes it out, keeping an eye on it. And then as nightfall, he sneaks up to this abandoned sietch, and he's immediately captured by Trapvine. It's like, oh, fuck, he's in a net. He's captured in a net by a mysterious man who reveals that whoever is behind this plot has baited him to come here in particular. So it's like they were expecting him. He's like, oh, no, like, how did they know? And this stranger says, you could not be permitted to go on as you were. Very bad. Before ascending the throne, you need to be educated. You wonder how one could presume to educate such a person as yourself, you with the knowledge of a multitude held there in your memories. That's just it, you see. You think yourself educated, young man, but all you are is a repository of dead lives. You don't yet have a life of your own. You're just a walking surfeit of others, all with one goal, to seek death. Not good in a ruler, being a death seeker. You'd strew your surroundings with corpses. You know, and then he gets drugged. Bam. They give him a slap shot. He fucking passes out. So little Lord Leto is been trapped. He's been trapped. You think you know everything? You're millions of years old person? Well, we're going to teach you a few new tricks. We're going to teach this old young dog a few new tricks. Back in Arrakis, we got Alia. She's tripping on her guards. Okay, she's tripping, dog. She's tripping hard. She's getting ready to lead a second funeral procession for Leto. She's kind of spiraling out of control. She's freaking out. She's just openly yelling at people now. She doesn't even try to keep her Bene Gesserit poised. She's just like, I'm just going to yell at people. Like, I don't give a fuck. She's freaking out her guards because they openly... Remember when she went to go investigate the preacher in our last session? She said that the preacher should be unmolested on this day. Leave him alone. Don't go after him. These guards did go after him, but they failed in their attempt to capture him. So not only did they not listen to her, they didn't even capture the guy. So this is exactly what she didn't want to have happen. She's like, I don't want people to think like, oh my God, like, what are you guys doing? And she also has heard that Jessica and Duncan are on Seleucus Secundus, and she's like, oh fuck, did you find out about Javid? Oh no. And so she's questioning her guards, and there's like a leader amongst them, and she's like, well, what would you do if you found out that he was my brother? What would you do then? What if you did capture him, you know? And he was like, well, we'd fucking kill him because he's fucking breeding disorder. And like everyone in his group is like, oh, like what? Like, I don't know if he speaks for me. Like, they're like, oh, that's kind of weird. I don't know if you should have said that. And she's like, you know what? Go ahead, dude. Go ahead, kill him, because then I'll just have to kill you. Because I got to keep the church looking good. Okay, if it's known that our fucking priesthood killed the preacher and he turned out to be my brother, that's not going to look good for us. So if you want to sacrifice yourself and be an idiot, go ahead, you know. And then she goes on to be like, look, we do need to capture him. Okay, you're right. We do need to capture him, just not out in the open. You can't do it in front of people. Okay, like you can't. But then. And she's like, and if you defy me in this, you know, leaving it kind of hanging in the air that I'm going to fucking kill you. And, but he's like, but no worries. Don't worry about it. No worries. Get ready for the funeral. And then she starts arguing with the Baron in her mind. She's like, fuck, everything's spiraling out of control. I don't know what the fuck to do. Like, he's like talking to her. She's like, shut up, fucking go away. And then he's like, you know, don't worry. Remember, Ganima's knife is sharp. And Alia's like, ooh, Ganima may be able to dig us out of this fucking hole we're in. You know, if she fucking takes out Farad, that'll totally, like, solve a lot of my fucking problems. So, then, I don't know. Wait, what? Let's see here. Oh, there we go. Hold on. Sorry. My thing got a little messed up there. Here we go. Chapter 37. We're back. We're back, guys. It was just a small freeze. It was just a small freeze. Refresh. Sorry. I know. I was like, ah. Okay, so we're back. The Riddle Game. Leto is in and out of consciousness. He's bummed. He's like, fuck, my golden path, it's already over. Like, I didn't even get like a foot on the golden path. It's already fucking over. And meanwhile, there's some guy in his ear saying, I could kill you, Atreides. I could kill Beans. I could kill you, Atreides. I could kill you, Atreides. I could kill you, Atreides. Just over and over, just over and over. Just like this litany in his fucking ear while he's fucking sleeping, which is like, whoa. And so then he wakes up, he meets his charming companion, Namri, who is like, I'm the father of Javid. You know him? He's like, yeah, I know him. And now, just like his father, Paul, who had the Gom Jabbar, now we have Leto's turn. This is kind of a Gom Jabbar of sorts for him. And Namri tells him, I am one of your schoolmasters, Atreides. I have only one function. I am the one who could kill you, and I do it gladly. In this school, to graduate is to live. To fail is to be given into my hands. And so he starts the riddle game with him, which it's like, if one wrong answer, you're fucking dead, kid. And so he starts speaking of him to the light of, he's talking about the light, the day and the night, how day is considered to be order and night is chaos, but the Fremen switched it around. The Fremen were like, no, the night, the more modern Fremen, the night is the nice time, and the daytime is too much order. It's too much order. It can kill you. It's just like the sun. There's too much sun. Like, the daytime is not our friend. Okay, the nighttime is our friend. And he's like, which light do you prefer? Which one do you like? You a daytime folk? You a nighttime man? And he's like, I prefer the light of truth. It's like, I prefer the light of truth, dog. And it's like, okay, you win. I'm not gonna fucking kill you. But he's like, but right answer. But you speak like somebody who's reciting, not somebody who believes what they're saying. You're just using your inner lives, and you're just saying what the fuck, and like, you're kind of an asshole. So he's like, I see you. I'm not gonna kill you, but I see you. Then he says, ask him another question. What is wrong with your ministry? What's up with that? What's wrong with your ministry, Leto? Riddle me this, Batman. And he's like, God's it is to show the way. Essentially, and another right answer. Essentially, and he's like, can it be true? Are you a believer? Because that sounded sincere when you said that. But what he means when he says God's it is to show the way is that the priests are not God. They're not here. They're not showing anyone anyway. And in fact, the priests created their ministry to hide the way. So it's like, yeah, my ministry's like, yeah, my ministry sucks. They're not God. They suck. Like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Then he asks him, I saw a vision of Shakir Ali looking down upon his tombs. Where can I find that city of tombs? And he's like, fuck, this is some Zen-Sunni wanderer shit. This is some Zen-Sunni fucking nonsense. And he comes up with this answer. The city of tombs is at the end of a path which all men follow. And again, Namri's like, okay, you're right. But you're still reciting. And then he asks him another question. Have you heard that they use imitation still suits in the city of Far Kadrish? And then he's like, the foppish habits of the Kadrish are an old story often repeated. The wise animal blends into its surroundings. Namri's like, all right, you win, but don't leave or you'll fucking die. Okay. Like, and your captor will be here shortly. You won this round, little Lord Leto. And Leto's like, fuck this shit. This stinks of the Bene Gesserit. I know my grandma's got a hand in this. Like, I know that bitch has got a fucking hand in this. Now, this was kind of like Leto's first day of class. Now we have Farad's first day of class. Farad is so stoked it's his first day. Jessica is kind of trolling him. She's wearing the Abba cloak, the black hood of the Reverend Mother, but she has it. There's like Atreides hawk crests all over the hem, embroidered, and all over like the cuffs of the sleeves. And she's like trying to test him, be like, are you going to be like bummed that you see an Atreides hawk on this fucking gown? And then he comes in and he's kind of like amused by it. And she's like, okay, cool. And he's wearing the gray leotard that she suggested. So he's like, okay, good. He's listening to me. He's wearing what I told him to wear. He's not fucking getting triggered. You know, she's trying to trigger him a little bit. He's not getting triggered. All right, we're good. And then he thinks to himself, he's getting ready to start. He's like, why do I trust this lady? Like, fuck. You know, this is a Bene Gesserit witch, man. Like, I shouldn't be trusting this lady. And then Jessica, as if she read his mind, says, you trust me because you know our bargain is a good one. And you want what I can teach you. But then she's like, no, I can't read minds. He's like, do the bitch read minds? Like, no, I can't read minds. But I read the face, the body, the mannerisms, the tone of voice, the set of arms. Anyone can do this once they learn the Bene Gesserit way. So she looks at the minutia to figure out what the fuck you're thinking. And he's like, well, will you really teach me? I'm worried here. And she's like, do the Bene Gesserit fuck around, sir? Like, do we ever not deliver on a promise? Like, aren't we, like, isn't that a thing throughout the Empire? She says, we survive in part by the complete confidence which people have in our truthfulness. That has not changed. And she's like, I'm surprised you never asked the Bene Gesserit for a teacher. They would have leapt at the opportunity to put you in their debt. And he's like, well, my mother would never listen to me when I urged her to do this, but now, shrug, she's gone. This is the second shrug that Jessica has encountered in this book. And in this time, the first one was Javid's, where she's like, ugh, I hate this man's shrug. This guy sucks. This one, she thinks to herself how it's an eloquent comment on Wincisia's banishment. So now it's time for class. They're gonna do their first lesson. So it's all about learning the art of patience. First Bene Gesserit lesson, the art of patience. They're gonna do some elementary prana bindu exercises. Prana bindu exercises are all about breathing and like your muscles, you know, like being in tune with your body and your breathing and like how your muscles are moving. So, okay, this was really cool. So we finally get into like some Bene Gesserit lessons in this book. We finally really get someone to explain them. And here is one. To learn patience in the Bene Gesserit way, you must begin by recognizing the essential raw instability of our universe. We call it nature, meaning this totality in all its manifestations, the ultimate non-absolute. To free your vision and permit you to recognize this conditional nature's changing ways, you will hold your hands at arm's length in front of you. Stare at your extended hands. First the palms and then the backs. Examine the fingers, front and back. So she's just like, all right, so everything's always changing in this universe. You need to learn that. Number one, I need you to look at your hands. All right, look at them. Really look at them. Fran's like, this is stupid. I know my hands. But, you know, we think that all the time. It's like, I know my hands. Do you? Have you really looked at them lately? Have you really fucking looked at them? Because a lot of us haven't. So, all right. So look at your hands back and forth. Imagine your hands aging. They must grow very old in your eyes. Make them old as you can imagine. When you see them age, reverse the process. Make your hands young again. As young as you can make them. Strive to take them from infancy to great age at will, back and forth. Concentrate upon visualizing the flow of time which you desire. Reversing that change flow will teach you to see every system as something spinning in relative stability. This is the perspective which you create with your own belief, and beliefs can be manipulated by imagination. You've only learned a limited way of looking at the universe. Now you must make the universe your own creation. This will permit you to harness any relative stability to your own uses, to whatever uses you are capable of imagining. So this is actually something that's really interesting. It's kind of like it reminds me of chaos magic and how belief is a tool. You know, she's talking about belief and how you can create your own beliefs. And that in this, she needs you to understand by him imagining his hands old and young and back and forth, he can see that the universe is always a changing thing and always be reminded of that and not be locked into this like, oh, like I'm just right here. I'm just this fucking thing. It's like she wants him to kind of have this this ability to visualize, which is interesting because it's something in the next chapter that kind of happens like for real to Leto, you know, like Farad's doing it in his very limited way, whereas Leto's like taking it to like the fucking extreme. So while he's doing it, she's like, all right, get to work. I'll be back in an hour. I'll let you do this by yourself. And then after we're done, I'm going to give you an exercise lesson to learn how to relieve your muscles. And she thinks to herself as she leaves, now if only Duncan and Gurney can do their parts, you know, maybe we can save this thing. Maybe we can turn this fucking universe around. Maybe we can turn this fucking universe around. And I love the last bit in the chapter. It says, she thought as she felt the gravel of a pathway beneath her feet, saw the golden light filtered by greenery. So at the very end, as she's thinking this, after her first lesson with Farad, she feels this path under her feet and she sees this golden light. So Jessica is on the golden path, you know? She's starting out on that golden path. We're all starting on that fucking golden path. So let's go to Leto's class. Let's go back to Leto fucking learning a few things. Whoa, like this was like the first one was like his like little Gom Jabbar test, and like this is like the second one, which is like, oh my god, baby's first day, you know, this is fucking insane. So Gurney enters the room. Gurney's behind all of this, which means Jessica's behind all of this, and Leto's like, fuck, I knew it. Like, fuck, I knew it. And Gurney immediately is like shutting him down. He's like, don't try your devil tricks on me, lad. I'm proof against them all. I follow your grandmother's orders, and your education has been planned to the last detail. It was she who approved my selection of Namri. What comes next, painful as it may seem, is at her command. So you shut up, and guess what? Here's a fucking, hold on, where's my fucking pen? Oh no, I was actually using it. It's downstairs. He brings out an injector, a Fremen fucking injector, full of this water of life, fucking spice essence, this blue liquid, and gets some, and he's like, you know what? It's time to take the worm trip, lad. It's time, baby. We're gonna do the spice trance for you. And Leto's like, no shit, fuck, I don't know what. Oh my god, how did Grandma know that this was, what the fuck? Like, and he's like repeating the litany against fear to himself, and he's just like having a real freak out. He gets injected, boom, starts tripping immediately, and boom, I mean, he's just like, I'm somewhere and some lady's making spiced coffee in front of me, and then my skin is not my own, fuck, and then, you know, and then it's like, oh no, now I'm in night and there's fucking stars flying around me, and he's like kind of course he's freaking out, and then his dad comes, you know, whispers to him, his dad in the multitude, he's like, I will protect you in the trance, the others will not take you. So don't worry, go on your trip, son. I'll hold the horde back while you do your fucking spice trip. Don't worry about it. I'll protect you. Just go on the trip. Just go on the trip, motherfucker. And so he's tumbling in his trip. He's tumbling in wind cut by sands. He's immersed in living time. Past, present, and future assault him. He feels himself setting forth on the Butlerian jihad, which happened thousands of years before. He remembers hearing things from that time. We must negate the machines that think. Humans must set their own guidelines. This is not something machines can do. Reasoning depends upon programming, not on hardware. And we are the ultimate program. We are the ultimate program. Our jihad is a dump program. We dump the things which destroy us as humans, which I think is really interesting right now. We have such a, technology's on the rise. It's booming. And I have seen some people, who are just like ready to give up and have like robot fucking overlords and just be like, oh, look, let's just let AI tell us what to do. Let's just have fucking like robots tell us what to do. And I'm just like, yikes, I've read Dune. That's not we shouldn't do that. Don't give up, man. Like, we can fucking figure it out. Like, don't give up wanting someone to take care of you like that. It sucks. But anyways, so then he sees Ghani from the far future telling him, in doing good, avoid notoriety. In doing evil, avoid self-awareness. I really like that little nugget. And then his dad's like, don't invite disaster. You're learning stroboscopic awareness now. And without it, you could overrun yourself, lose your place mark in time. And so stroboscopic Awareness. So, okay, you know when you look at a fan and you see 4 blades on a fan, and then they're stationary. But then when you turn it on and they start spinning, they don't look like 4 blades anymore. It becomes like this blurred fucking image of all of these things together. And so that's what the stroboscopic awareness is. You know, right now he can see the past, he can see the present, he kind of is starting to see the future. He sees these blades, but they're all kind of separate. With stroboscopic awareness, they're all going to be, and then they're just like become one mushed up thing. They become a whole new situation. The intrusions hammered him, past, present, now. There was no true separation. He knew he had to flow with this thing. He felt himself being forced to cease every effort of resistance. He had to embrace the chaos there. He could not grasp his new universe in motionless, labeled bits. You know, it's like those fucking blades. You know, it's just like he couldn't, everything's moving now. No bit would stand still. He found himself moving with a gigantic moment bien heureux, able to see the past in the future, the present in the past, and the now in both past and future. And I looked up moment bien heureux, and it loosely translates to happy moment. And what I read about it was such moments offer a deep sense of what is real as they bring together past and present. They effectively capture and fix the experience. These moments occur where the relationship between the past self and the historical self is located at a point of equilibrium. The effect is that the balance between the historical self and the present self may be achieved through conscious recollection and reflection, as well as through involuntary memory. That's what that explanation of that was. Cause I was like, what the fuck does that word mean? So it's where the past and the present become equilibrium. So in the book, it goes back and says, in this shattering awareness, all of his past, every inner life became his own. With the help of the greatest within him, he dominated. They were his. So now Leto has officially risen above abomination with the help of his dad at first, who was like kind of holding the horde back while he's doing a spice trance. Now that he's got the stroboscopic awareness, now that the past and the present are like at an equilibrium, now he's been able to integrate all of these fucking personalities into him. And whichever life he now chose, he'd live it out in an autonomous sphere of mass experience. A trail of lives so convoluted that no single lifetime could count the generations of it. Aroused, this mass experience held the power to subdue his selfdom. It could make itself felt upon an individual, a nation, a society, or an entire civilization. He's like, ooh, I gotta hide that. Like, oh. He's like, he's got it under control, but now it's like one big thing that's a part of him. And so now, if this mass decides like what's right, like they could kind of override like what he would want to do because they have more power and awareness than he does. So it's like, so he, you know, he's more of he's a passenger, you know, he's driving the boat, but still like the boat can steer him when it wants to. But he's like, I gotta hide this from everybody, you know, like I can't even let Ganima know this. So he also says he wakes up out of his fucking spice trip. He doesn't know what day it is, you know, and Namri's sitting there and he's like, there's no single set of limits for all men. Universal prescience is an empty myth. Only the most powerful local currents of time may be foretold. But in an infinite universe, local can be so gigantic that your mind shrinks from it. A 9-year-old, but with an old voice, you know, he says this shit. Yeah, he's sort of become a hive mind. Yeah, that's right, Jester Feathers, totally. And Namri's like, what are you talking about? Like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, okay, whatever, weirdo. And then he's like, where's Gurney? Namri's like, he left because if I had to kill you, he didn't want to watch. And he's like, well, will you kill me? Please, will you kill me? Will you kill me? And he's like, well, since you want me to kill you, no, I'm not gonna do it. And then they talk about indifference. The malady of indifference is what destroys many things. Yes, even civilizations die of it. It is as though that were the price demanded for achieving new levels of complexity and consciousness. And so he's like, yeah, if you had felt indifferent about yourself, being killed, I would have killed you. So because that's like, you need to still have some sort of moral, like you've been leveled up. You have achieved new levels of complexity and consciousness, but if you're so freaked out that you become indifferent to all of this, then like that's going to be a problem. You still need to have a hand on the reins here. And so, yeah, and I thought that was really great that civilizations die of indifference. It was the price demanded of achieving new levels of complexity and consciousness. And I feel like I see that so much today. I'm like looking around, I'm like, ugh, we have, with the internet and everything introduced into our civilization, like people have become just so indifferent, like so indifferent. I saw something that was interesting on Twitter. Someone was like, oh, the US just wants to be so special. And I was like, well, the US is special. Like, what are you talking about? Like, but there's like this indifference about it. And it's like, where else is there a nation made up of so many different types of people from so many different types of fucking places? It is special. Like when we first started out, we were called the Great Experiment. Like even though our government has fallen into disrepair, when it was new, it was new, where people were like, whoa, what are y'all doing over there? Like, that's wild. Like, huh? Like, that's a whole fucking thing. Canada. Do you have the same type of diversity? That's what somebody else was saying, is Canada. What about Canada? But, America came first, so whatever. Like, we're first, whatever, dude. But is Canada as diverse as America? Is it? I don't know if it, I genuinely don't know. But yeah, so I think, it's like, I feel like people have become very indifferent, very indifferent. Ugh. I feel it. I feel it. Davey Stockworker says Mexican food in Canada sucks. Well, that's a bummer. We got some great Mexican places here in LA, but we're really close. We have an unfair advantage. We're really close to the border here. So let's go to chapter 40. Plotting women. Let's see here. They've been trying all night to convince Ghanima to marry Farad, and she's not having it. She's just like, no, it's just, I'm not having, like, I'm gonna kill this guy. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I would never. She's like, everyone knows he killed my brother. Fremen would spit at my mention if I were to consent. Okay, the Fremen would be like, fuck you, you're gonna marry this guy who killed your brother? Like, they would be so disgusted. And evil Alia, her little evil mind's like, yeah, that's what I want you to do. We're trying to fucking, because the Baron is, working to get Alia to make bad decisions so that they essentially destroy the Atreides legacy. Irulan steps in, and yeah, she's like, Farad has Duncan and Jessica, like, maybe if you did this, we could get them back. And then Ganima's like, yeah, about that. How the fuck did they get over there? Exactly. Okay. I'm not really like, what's up with that, guys? And then Alia's like, you know what? Duncan was charged to protect your grandmother. So, but inside she's like, what the fuck, Duncan? Like, what, agreed. What the fuck? And she's like, dude, Duncan was charged to protect your grandma. Okay. And she's like, you're lying, oh womb of, I love how she calls her womb of heaven. You're lying, oh womb of heaven. I've heard about your fight with grandma. What is it you fear to tell us about her and your precious Duncan? She's like, starts to put Alia to the fucking question in this. Like, she's so over it. She's not even trying. And then like, so Irulan tag teams in. She tag teams in. And just Ghanima just cusses them. She starts fucking cussing them, and she starts fucking with Alia, saying like, I'm gonna listen to my inner voices. I'm not gonna listen to you. And like, Alia's like, shit, is she fucking possessed? Is she fucking Abomination too? Fuck. She doesn't look like she's Abomination, but like, maybe she is Abomination. I don't know. Irulan cuts in. She tries the mom card. I'm your mother, and to you and Leto. And then like, Ganima's like, you never even knew him. Shut up, Irulan. Like, you don't even know him. You're an idiot. You think we're children. Alia doesn't think we're children, but Alia, look at her. She's running away. She's fucking running away. And she's like, I'm not running away. And she's like, you are running away. Which like, and then she's like, fuck, does Ghanima know I'm Abomination? Like, fuck. She does, of course. She goes, you feared to be the window for a multitude, but we're pre-born, and we know you'll be their window, conscious or unconscious. You cannot deny them. Okay? All right? You cannot deny them. And then they just have silence between them. Like, Irulan and Alia and Ghanima are just, like, having this abomination fight right in front of Irulan, who has no idea what's going on. She's such a moron. And she's like, why the fuck? Why do they go silent? I don't understand. I'm Irulan. I'm Irulan. And then Irulan tries the voice. She's like, hey, why'd you guys go silent? With her fucking voice, trying to like trick them into saying what happened. And then wrong choice, Irulan, yet again. And that just pisses off Ghanima. And Ganima's like, you would try the voice. You, Irulan, you would try the voice on you. Would try the voice on me. Okay? You would teach your grandmother to suck eggs. Which is an old saying. And it's so old that most people today don't even understand what it means. And Irulan certainly doesn't. She's like, what? Yeah, she's like, what? Beans is in the chat. But Irulan is so basic. And if you don't know what that means, it means trying to teach someone who has better experience than you in doing something. So if it's like, you know, it's like some guy mansplaining like how to bake cookies to like some woman who's been baking cookies for like 15 years, you know. It's just like you don't do that. And so she's like, look, Irulan, if you don't even remember what that means, you don't even know what that means, okay? I'm obviously older than you, so fuck off. And ask yourself what your royal parents could have been thinking of when they named you Irulan. Or is it Ruinal? And then she calls her Ruinous Irulan. And it's just like, oh my god, like, so, what a burn. I'm surprised she didn't call her Urinal. Because, I mean, you can spell urinal from Irulan. But she calls her, she's nicer than that. She calls her Ruinous Irulan. Ruinous Irulan. Which I was like, oh, damn. And then Alia's like, fuck, wait a minute. Okay. Time out. Okay, time out. Like, you guys, I've got a deal for you. Okay. What if you just kill Farad and you consent to the thing, but it's a trick. You know? And she's like, well, I mean, would Farad even believe it? I mean, all the Fremen are going to know this is a fucking trap. And she's like, no, it's fine. We'll try to get him. Okay? We're going to bring him here. We're going to have this betrothal with your consent. And then you can kill him. And what about that? You know, first we'll get Duncan and Jessica back. So we'll get Duncan and Jessica back. Then we'll kill him, you know? And she's like, okay. God was like, okay, that's a good deal. And Irulan's like, no, what? Like, you are going to ruin Atreides' honor. Like, no one's going to trust you. You're going to have loss of religious trust. What about Paul's fucking memory? The Frofferlukes are going to fucking riot, okay? Like, they're going to fucking riot. I wash my hands of this. You can't, and they're like, oh, fuck it, we're doing this. She's like, well, can't you at least make it look like an accident? And Ganima's like, no, I'm going to let everybody know I killed that motherfucker. I'm going to wave my fucking bloody ass knife around. And she's like, can you declare Canley? I mean, fuck, man, like anything. And they're like, no. And so she just like flees in despair. And Ganima's like, hey, why don't you have her watched, Alia? Alia's like, don't fucking try to teach me how to conduct a plot, motherfucker. Like, don't tell me how to conduct a plot, which I thought was really funny. And yeah, so that is the end of session 8. So proud of our Leto. He finally took the worm trip. You know, he got the spice trance. I'm so glad he's okay. This is gonna be great for him. And yeah, next session, you're going to read page 396 to 451. And the last sentence is, with this commitment, Leto's awareness slipped into the web of timeless Tao. All right. So we got some Tao in there. You know, got the Tao in there. It's exciting. So I know, Jake Higgs, this story just gets more and more intense. It's like always at an 11. I know. Dune is like, I'm like freaking out. Like, this is like, Dune Club is so hard. Like, you have no idea. Like, leading you guys through this shit. I'm like, what stroboscopic? What the awareness? What the fuck does that mean? Like, what the fuck is this shit? What is being, like, what is this shit? It really keeps me on my toes. This is such a fun, challenging book club to do with you guys. So yeah. So check it out. Read it for next Sunday. So excited. We're back on track on Sunday. And we're going to take a quick break. But before we do, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to answer some questions and answers. So we will be right back. Get your little questions ready for me, babies. And I will see you in a few moments. 19 Academy thanks these lovely people for all their generosity and support on patreon.com/DanicaXIX. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, ring the bell, and tell your friends. You can join me live on twitch.tv/DanicaXIX and follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DanicaXIX. Support for 19 Academy comes from viewers like you on patreon.com/DanicaXIX.